believe it or not, Charlotte Flair at WrestleMania will not be challenging Becky Lynch, will not be challenging Bayley, but instead she will be facing the NXT Women's Champion, Rhea Ripley. And Rhea Ripley is extremely over. It makes sense why they've sort of gone the heel route with Charlotte. I do think for Rhea Ripley to face Charlotte at WrestleMania is a fresh match, which is what this main roster women's division badly needs. Everything's just been with the four horsewomen. Obviously, we've had a few Ronda Rousey matches thrown in there in the last year. Well, the year before, but it is a fresh matchup. My question is, what do they do? Do they put the belt on Bianca at the next takeover and somehow get to Rhea versus Charlotte that way? Or do they go in with Rhea Ripley and have her defend the NXT Women's Championship at WrestleMania? Tebs, what are you thinking for this? Are you excited for this match? Is this a match you want to see at WrestleMania? Or would you prefer to see Charlotte face Becky or Bayley?
I'd prefer Flair Ripley rather than Flair Bayley or Horsewomen or whatever. Looks like Banks is out for a while again now. But yeah, if you're going to put Flair in a match, and it sounds like Smavian had a choice to put her up against Ripley, heel Flair against over Ripley, yeah, I think that's actually a damn good shout. Judge, from what you've just said there, you've just got me grey matter whirling, but it won't surprise me if they put the belt on Belair and if Flair even costs her the belt at TakeOver Portland, is it, in a couple of weeks?
Yeah.
It really won't surprise me if Flair actually, for some reason, gets involved and costs her that title to set up that match. I like that angle. I like that they're doing something different. I can't see Flair winning the NXT Women's Championship unless you're going to move her back to NXT, which isn't going to happen. I think we just got to wait for it to play out. I've heard lots of things come from various wrestling papers and websites over the years. Maybe it's not going to work out like that. Maybe it is. We don't know. The fun is finding out.
Speaking of accolades, if she won the NXT Championship at WrestleMania, I might be wrong here, but would she then be able to say that she had, at WrestleMania, won the Raw Women's title, the SmackDown Women's title, and the NXT Women's title? I'm trying to think, she's definitely won. She won that triple threat match, didn't she, with Becky Lynch and... Was it Becky Lynch and Sasha at WrestleMania 32? That triple threat match? Pretty sure she won that, didn't she? Yep, she definitely.
Yeah, she did. She beat Oscar for SmackDown. Was it SmackDown title she beat?
Yeah, but they're all the same, aren't they? But I'm sure WWE, they'll just claim it anyway, won't they? But it would be a thing to add to her list of accolades. So yeah, it wouldn't surprise me if they did have even Charlotte win and then maybe drop it. I don't know. I do think Rhea Ripley is that over at the moment. She's going to have this run with the belt. And then with NXT, I think once you have your big run with the belt, you need to be on the main roster because you can't... Obviously, I know the likes of Johnny Gargano have stayed and carried on, but to me, there's just the risk of getting stale. As soon as you have your run with the belt, I think it's time to get on the main roster. We saw it with Drew McIntyre, look where he is now. We saw it with Andrade. After he had his run with the belt, he lost to Aleister Black, and then boom, he was on Raw, a couple of months later.
Then look at the NXT Women's Championship. I know I'm not allowed to call it that anymore, but you've got Baszler she's I think the only female champion to have two reigns with the NXT belt. Nobody else has had two reigns. She lost to Kairi Sane and then won it back again. And for her to, I think there was a lot of times when everybody were going into a takeover saying, it's time for Baszler to lose it. It's time for her to lose it. It's time for her to lose it. And she's gone through that. She's gone through that almost getting stale. And she's come out of it looking like an absolute monster. See, one thing for me is, with Baszler and Flair, you said there, it's, giving Flair that accolade, so she's got it on her resume. Baszler's 39 years old. Flair's 33. And Baszler's technically still in development. And I just think when are they going to do it? If they're going to do it for Baszler, it's felt like that was the moment. But
yeah,
there's people better than us, who are richer than us that do this stuff. So
they need to just do it, Tebs. That's the women's division. I'm sick of Becky, and I like Becky. I like Charlotte. I really like Sasha. Bailey, I can give a take, but out of those four, I feel like every time I've been to WrestleMania, the title matches have all involved them. And I feel like you're sort of running out of options. Like, people are saying, oh, it might be Becky v. Charlotte. We've seen that on countless occasions. So for this WrestleMania, get Rhea Ripley in there going over Charlotte. Get Shayna Baszler going over Becky Lynch, because that's the reported match for Becky Lynch. So get them two, and you've got Shayna, Rhea Ripley up there. And instead of it just being about 4 women constantly, you can have Shayna and Rhea in there, so it's about 6 women. Because for whatever reason, they don't seem to really go all the way with Asuka. So go all the way with Rhea, go all the way with Shayna, and we can get something different in the women's division at WrestleMania. So
It does leave room for that Banks Bailey match as well.
yeah, it does, doesn't it? We were saying on the last show. So was it the last show when we were saying, what does it really need a belt, that match? Where you could, that'd be 3 really good women's matches, wouldn't it, for Mania? Lynch, Baszler, Bailey against Sasha, and obviously Rhea against Charlotte.